innovative work being done right now by researchers here in the province of Alberta to combat COVID and help get us on our path towards recovery and as we move forward together as a province. So I really am excited to be here today with our Minister of Advanced Education, also President Bill Flanagan for hosting us, as well as our Alberta Innovates CEO, Laura Kilchrist. And I want to thank them all for being here today to be a part of this announcement. And why are we here? We're talking about the innovative steps being done right here in Alberta as it relates to COVID. As it relates to the research being done here, that's so innovative because it relates to machine learning, AI, the ability to track and how the COVID virus is spreading in real time with this technology, the ability to administer antibody tests far faster, ability to alleviate pressures on our healthcare system through research and innovation. That's why it's so exciting to see this announcement here today. When we initially did a call for proposals for how we could help tackle research required to go after the COVID vaccine to make sure we can help keep us all safe, there were so many proposals that came in that we actually had to do another round here of funding to help fund that research. And that's what this is here today to do. So it was an initial round, but we found so many valid projects, 5 here at the University of Alberta, 2 at the University of Calgary, that we had with our amazing researchers that we have here in the province of Alberta, that we simply had to get this done. And that's why we're proud of the fact that we have this $2.1 million funding to go towards this research here, provided by Alberta Innovates. So really want to say thank you to our team of people that helped pull this all together to make sure that Alberta continues to be at the forefront of research and technology. And why is that a part of our recovery plan? We all know that making sure that we're responsible through this pandemic is so key for us to making sure we have building blocks in place to recover as a province. All of us have done so many amazing things in our personal lives, made personal sacrifices to make sure that we keep ourselves safe, we keep those around us safe. We've done that diligence, and Albertans have done that resilient part. We've been able to keep our hospitalizations down. We've been able to make sure we keep responsible steps to get our small businesses back up and running. And this research being done through this money is going to help continue to make sure, as we emerge from this pandemic, to make sure that Alberta continues to be at the forefront of leading and innovating. And that also leads to jobs of the future, jobs of today, but also jobs of the future. And we have to start doing a better job telling our story here in the province of Alberta about what we actually can accomplish and what we can do. We are at the forefront of vaccine development. We're at the forefront of antibody testing. We're at the forefront of research. And that doesn't just matter of research for research's sake. It's going to save thousands of lives, if not more. But on top of that, it's also going to create opportunities for people to commercialize these ideas and turn them into jobs and companies of the future as well. Last week, we made a lot of announcements around intellectual property. We also made a lot of announcements about making sure we make those strategic investments so we can take these ideas and turn them into companies and jobs. So really, it builds on both of that. It's the responsible thing to do for us as a province to be at the forefront of the research as it relates to the COVID, but also making sure that we have those opportunities for those next generation of people coming up that hopefully have another breakthrough, which will lead to more innovation and more development. So really with that, I just want to say thank you for everybody for being here. We're excited about this announcement, and I'd like to introduce the Minister of Advanced Education.
Well, thank you, Doug, and good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for being here for today's very important announcement. And of course, thank you as well to University of Alberta President Dr. Bill Flanagan for hosting us here today for this important announcement. Our province is proud of our world-class research, innovation, and learning communities. At the heart of that is a spirit of partnership, collaboration, and passion. The initiatives announced today are a tremendous example of that type of collaboration between government and our post-secondary institutions, and one that we must continue to expand on. Driving research and innovation in our post-secondary institutions is critical to success, as is creating Canada's best possible business environment. We are taking action on both of these fronts to help get Albertans back to work and realizing good-paying jobs and careers. Our greatest strength is the people of this province, who will carry us forward through the post-COVID recovery. Now, I of course acknowledge, and we all do, that times are tough, and we've been hit especially hard here in Alberta. But given that, every individual Albertan absolutely deserves the opportunity to find meaningful work for themselves so they can provide for their families and their loved ones. To ensure a foundation for success, we must have job-ready creators and industries in place to build upon the tremendous research and innovation that occurs on our campuses across this province each and every single day. That is why we've launched Alberta 2030, Building Skills for Jobs. This bold initiative will help strengthen our province's post-secondary institutions as leaders in research and innovation. The key, of course, as Minister Schweitzer mentioned, is transitioning these new ideas, these new opportunities into new industries for Alberta. Just 2 months ago, I announced the creation of a new research working group, which complements the work that we're undertaking in Alberta 2030, to explore ways to support and strengthen the commercialization of research at our institutions, but also to expand and strengthen the research potential of our institutions. And that's how you build a road to recovery, one that is proactive, opportunistic, and sustainable for future generations. Whether it's COVID-19 research, energy, artificial intelligence, hydrodynamics, or biophysics, our institutions have the individuals, the expertise, and the knowledge to help us all realize our future goals. Alberta 2030 and our entire post-secondary system is a vital catalyst of economic recovery. And I'm very pleased that the University of Alberta and the University of Calgary will lead vital research on COVID-19. And I'm so proud and passionate to talk more with the individuals that will be leading most of this important research work. The U of A and the U of C bring leadership, passion, and expertise to this project. Researchers will be looking at a number of areas, as Minister Schweitzer mentioned, including the potential for rapid detection of COVID-19, diagnostics, and even a better understanding of how individuals respond, behavioral responses are made to messaging during this pandemic. So in closing, happy to turn things over to Dr. Flanagan in a moment, but in closing, just want to say again that our post-secondary institutions are critical and vital to the success of our province and to the recovery of all Albertans. So thank you very much, and Dr. Flanagan, happy to turn things over to you to say a couple words. Thank you.
Well, thank you, everyone. I'd just like to begin my remarks by acknowledging that the University of Alberta acknowledges that we are located on Treaty 6 territory and respects the histories, languages, and cultures of First Nations, Métis, Inuit, and all First peoples of Canada, whose presence continues to enrich our vibrant community. Well, today is a wonderful announcement, and I want to extend my thanks to both ministers for attending today. Providing innovative solutions to the challenges that we face as a province is absolutely at the core of what we do here at the University of Alberta. And today's critical funding from the University of Alberta and Alberta Innovates will help our researchers carry out their work in rapid detection, management, and the reduction of transmission of COVID-19. With nearly $1.4 million in funding for 5 different COVID-19 related research projects at the U of A that includes enabling rapid antibody detection, evaluating caregiver needs in assisted living facilities, and predicting and managing COVID-19 pandemic dynamics while using machine learning. And I'd like to take a moment to congratulate the enormously talented researchers here at the University of Alberta for their cutting-edge work. And research universities like the University of Alberta and the University of Calgary are home not only to the students who help shape our collective future, but also the hundreds of talented researchers who are committed to advancing not only their fields, but their communities and their home province. And from the University of Alberta with us today include Ji Chin from the Faculty of Engineering. Congratulations. And Andrei Drabovich from the Faculty of Medicine and Dentistry. Welcome. And Matthias Hoban, Faculty of Nursing. Welcome. And Mark Lewis, the Faculty of Science. Mark. And Mark, I just wanted to add, is also supported through the Pfizer Alberta Collaboration in Health, another example of the important collaborations with industry that helps to power our research. and Punita Tandon from the Faculty of Medicine and Dentistry. Welcome. So let's give us a round of applause for our talented researchers. And today's announcement demonstrates how closely we are working with the government and all of our partners to respond to COVID-19. Finding solutions to the challenges that Albertans face has always been a core part of the mission of the University of Alberta since its founding. And there's no better example than our research response to COVID-19. There are more than 75 COVID-19 related research projects currently underway at the University of Alberta. And of course, the University of Alberta is home to top experts in medicine, public health, and health policy. We're home to internationally renowned researchers and facilities of the very highest caliber. At our world-class La Qixing Institute of Virology, for example, more than 20 researchers are currently working to develop antivirals and vaccines. And also law and public health professor Timothy Caulfield serves on the Royal Society of Canada's task force to support Canada's response to and recovery from COVID-19. So we will continue to be nimble and agile. We will continue to leverage our diverse research excellence, and we will pivot to the most pressing issues and challenging issues that Alberta faces and find compelling solutions. We are committed to being a core part of Alberta's social and economic recovery and well-being. So once again, ministers, please accept my heartfelt thanks for you joining us here today on campus, and likewise to the Government of Alberta for your support. We embrace the opportunity to partner with you and with all Albertans to improve the lives of Albertans here in the province. So thank you, and it's now my pleasure to invite Laura Kilcrease, the CEO of Alberta Innovates, to the podium to deliver some remarks. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Flanagan. Well, good afternoon, everyone. You know, my name is Laura Kilcrease, and I'm the CEO of Alberta Innovates. You know, Alberta Innovates, we are driving force behind innovation in this province, and that's very important for Alberta. We help both industry, entrepreneurs, researchers across all sectors developing solutions to needs for their products and to get their products to the marketplace. This includes a very, very wide range of activities in all economic sectors. For example, we assist companies in the energy sector test parts and processes. We invest in startups with capital and coaching so that they can scale and grow their businesses in areas such as smart ag and clean tech. We also connect and support health researchers to find new ways to respond to the challenges like the pandemic that's facing us today. You know, COVID-19 has highlighted the link between health and economic well-being, as well as the ways in which we are both lifted by research and innovation. As the pandemic progressed, we saw an opportunity to partner with CIHR and to use the resources in this province to invest more in Alberta-based research projects that will reduce the spread and the impact of COVID-19. The response from the Alberta research community was such that this opportunity was overwhelming. In fact, Alberta led applications that accounted for between 15 and 18% of all those applications across the country. These grants were awarded in this competition consistently matched or exceeded the proportion of much larger other provinces. However, we saw there's a number of very strong Alberta-led proposals that were highly ranked but didn't quite meet the cutoff for funding. Well, at JEI and Alberta Innovates, we couldn't leave that by standing alone by the side of the road. So we reallocated some funding and struck a team to evaluate those highly probable proposals that we just thought ought to be funded. And today, I'm very happy to announce the additional investment of $2.1 million from Alberta Innovates into 7 more high-caliber projects. That's not just $2.1 million from the project, that's 100% funding for those projects, in addition to almost $16 million elsewhere. This is a fundamentally important investment to us. Examples are Mark Lewis in using machine learning to predict COVID-19 pandemic dynamics, of how it spreads and how we can contain it. Jay Hugh, who is examining large-scale behavioral changes in tools aimed at encouraging people to follow COVID protocols, but there's many, many other great projects. We're also looking to encourage people to get the COVID-19 vaccine when it becomes available, and these research projects will lead to better outcomes. Alberta's health research community is front and center in the help to slow the spread and lessen the impact of COVID. So before I finish today, I want to acknowledge the project teams from Alberta Health Sciences, Alberta Innovates, Alberta Jobs, Economy and Innovation that came together to make this possible. I also want to thank our health innovation staff who matched the opportunity with the need and pushed this initiative forward. At Alberta Innovates, I can only thank my team, led by Dr. Tim Murphy. And we believe that innovation from Alberta Innovates and in Alberta is key to growing this economy, expanding our markets, creating new and better opportunities, and improving health outcomes for Albertans. So, Alberta Innovates is proud to support this competition, and I really want to say that again. We're proud of these researchers. We're proud of mobilizing the ingenuity and expertise in Alberta, and we're proud to bring forward new solutions and faster for our communities. Thank you so very much.
Before we move to question, just a quick note to those on the line. We are on a very tight timeline, so please limit yourself to one question. Available for questions are Minister Schweitzer, Minister Nicolaides, Dr. Bill Flanagan, and Laura Kilcrease. So operator, can you please put through the first caller?
Thank you. Yes, the first question is from Terry Reid, CBC. Please go ahead.
Yes, hi, thank you and good afternoon. Question for Minister Schweitzer, please. We have been, for the past couple of months, seeing very successful innovation in the form of the NHL bubble. A lot of science went into that, a lot of innovation. And Minister, when you talk about then turning companies or turning ideas into companies and jobs, what are the lessons from the bubble that we can learn, and how do we use that kind of innovation going forward?
Well, I just think you're seeing more and more in society, people adapting to what we've had to go through for the last 6 months, people adopting technology at a faster and faster pace in their day-to-day lives, how they're ordering groceries, how they're getting their coffee, how they're engaging in meetings that you normally would have been in person at a big tower in downtown. Now they're doing from their basement, and hopefully their kids don't necessarily barge in on the meeting when they're doing it. So we're just seeing a huge adaptation there, which is as well for the innovative minds that we have here in Alberta. That's a huge opportunity for them. That's an opportunity to innovate and get their ideas to the forefront because people are willing to try new things. People are willing to try new tools. I mean, how many different video conferencing applications have we seen come online in the last few months alone? Went from Zoom, now you've got Microsoft Teams, you have a whole bunch of different tools that are there that are more and more in the common use. So I think sky's the limit. And what we're doing here with this announcement today, the one that really excites me as well is around machine learning and the ability to adapt that technology. We're at the forefront of the world in this area. This could lead to $1 trillion market development around the world, and Alberta is at the forefront of it. So we have to make sure we're strategically investing to make sure that those ideas and that initiatives that's coming through our post-secondary institutions can be commercialized, turned into companies and jobs and opportunities for generations to come.
Operator, can you please put through the next caller?
Thank you. Lisa Johnson, Post Media.
Hi, thanks for taking my question. This is for Minister Schweitzer as well. I'm wondering why this funding is coming from Alberta Innovates instead of the Ministry of Advanced Education, and if there are different reporting requirements than there would be in case of an academic grant. For example, is there an expectation of financial return on investment or job creation quotas?
Well, I'm about a month on the job here, and I'm starting to figure out all the different granting tools that we have in my Jobs, Economy, and Innovation Ministry. We do work very closely with our post-secondary institutions and the Minister of Advanced Education on finding priorities, as well as working with Alberta Innovates on their priorities. We also leverage our endowments to make sure that we're leveraging those for investments as well into research and innovation. So it's just how the department was structured historically, but we do work closely with the post-secondary institutions to make sure we structure these grants properly.
Thank you. Operator, can you please put through the next caller?
The next question is from Tom Vernon, Global News.
Hi, my question is for Minister Schweitzer as well. Thanks for taking my question. It is on a different topic. Last week, during the AUMA convention, you took a number of questions about REITAs and their funding. We've heard that a couple haven't actually received their funding for this year, and then, of course, there was the cut. First of all, how important a role do you see REITs playing as we look to rebuild Alberta's economy? And also, when can they expect to see their funding for this year begin to flow?
Yeah, and I received that question at the conference, I think that was last Friday, and I actually asked my department to follow up with that over the weekend, so they're digging through to get the details to see where some of the potential delays may be, but stay tuned, more details to come. As far as the work goes, I mean, this is all of us rowing in the same direction to make sure that we are part of this recovery. We all have a lot of work to do to move forward and get back to our lives where people have confidence that they have a job now and opportunities for the future as well. So it's a partnership. We got to continue to work together in every corner of Alberta to make sure that we can continue to grow and prosper.
Thank you. Operator, can you please put through the next caller?
Thank you. The final question is from Colleen Underwood, CBC.
Hi, I'm not sure who would answer this, but I'm just wondering, is the funding, did you mention that it was all-encompassing, so this is a one-time grant being given now to fulfill the whole project? And if so, for something like the rapid testing for antibodies, when would that be done?
I might actually turn that over to somebody that actually has more of a science background than myself to be able to answer some of those questions, but maybe Laura, you might be the right person to answer that one.
Yes, this funding is for the total of the project, however long the researcher may take to accomplish their research. So while we have plans and the researchers have established those plans, sometimes things may go awry and sometimes things are done early. So this is the total funding for those projects. I do have a list of those projects and I'd be happy to give more detail afterwards to the inquirer here as to what they are and exactly all the details I know. I am not a scientist myself, although I have every detail on all those projects here with me.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone.